Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, we're going to be unboxing this. This is the Bestva Pro Series 1000 grow light. So let's get to unboxing the light. All right, so in the box, we've got a user manual, the light itself, we'll put that aside for now, a power cord with an on-off switch, some grow room glasses, an adapter for an Australian plug, some ratchet hangers, some pretty interesting attachments for the light. We'll go into that in a second. And a little business card. Cool. So if you ever wondered what a grow light from the Covenant in Halo would look like, this light answers that question. It's basically an alien spacecraft. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It looks cool. The way that they've incorporated design into the practical aspects of heat dissipation is awesome. Let's dig into the specifications for this light. So this light uses Samsung 301B SMD diodes, surface mounted over the top of a PCB, which is passively cooled with this radical fanned heatsink. The SMD consists of 3000K warm white LEDs, 5000K white LEDs, 660 nanometer red LEDs, and 730 nanometer infrared diodes. This composition makes the light full spectrum, and the spectrum has a really good coverage for the entirety of the grow cycle. Full spectrum also allows you to check on your plant health, and with these glasses that they've provided, you won't be blinded by that. It sports a mean wall driver with a dimmer knob on the top, which goes from 100% all the way down to 0 and off. So there's actually a click on off on the top of the driver, as well as on the power cord itself. So there's no lack of turning this light on and off. So the light covers a 3x3 veg area and a 2.5 by 2.5 flower area. As I said earlier, the power consumption is about 105 watts on their website. We'll do a test on that later. And the input voltage is from 100 to 240 volts from the wall. The light is also coated with a waterproof surface so that if you're foliar feeding or get any water on the light, it'll protect the LEDs and the driver. So let's have a look at these hangers because I haven't seen a system like this yet. I'm not sure whether this will be a positive or a negative, but I'll let you know as I use the light. It's an interesting hanging design, and the rope ratchet hangers sort of fit into these little grooves that then you can tighten them up and it gives you an anchor point. Now, a trend that I've noticed with a lot of LEDs these days is that they come with these super long ratchet hangers. And as I've said before, that's not a good use of your hanging space in any small area. So this is actually probably going to be a little bit harder to hang because I can't just, hook it on here and loop it over. I'm going to have to adjust these manually. There is a pass-through, so you might actually be able to hook a hook onto this light. So you do away with the need for these contraptions. Okay, so it's time for the par test. Now, in doing these reviews, I've had feedback from the light companies as well as people buying these lights. And to meet on a common ground, I'm going to continue doing the par tests over a 1 by 1.2 square meter area. However, I'm also going to do a 12-inch par test within the designated area specified for the grow lights at the stage of flowering or veg. I'm going to do this because it gives a more accurate PPFD map and micromole efficacy that you can compare to the actual manufacturer's outlined PPFD map and efficacy. So let's do the PAR test. 25, 65. So the light definitely passes the cat heat test, but we've got to test the aluminium fins and this enclosure, which is housing the main wheel driver. So I'll just put some tape onto the aluminium surfaces. All right, driver first. All right, so the temperatures on the light. On the driver, we've got 47.6 degrees Celsius, which is 117.6 degrees Fahrenheit. On the external casing, we've got 34.2 degrees Celsius, which is 93.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And on the fins, we've got 46.3 degrees Celsius, which is 115.3 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, it's time for the results. Now, the light was hung at 13 inches, taking off an inch for the PAR sensor, so 12 inches height, and it was hung above a 1.2 square meter area and an 800 millimeter by 800 millimeter, which is a 2 foot 8 inch square area. Now, that's the height recommended for veg coverage by the manufacturer. So here's the PAR map for the 1.2 square meter area, and the average over that PAR map was 161.63. We then times that by 1.2, which is the square meterage of the area, divided by 98, and we come to an efficacy of 1.97 micromoles per joule. For the recommended veg area by the manufacturer, here's the PAR map, and we take our average from that PAR map, which was 259.75. We times that by 0.8, which is the square meterage of the area, and divide it by 98, which is the watt draw. This gives us an efficacy of 2.1 micromoles per joule for the manufacturer's veg footprint. Now, those efficacies are great numbers for what is a fairly competitively priced light, especially one that they've put so much time and thought into the design of the light as well. So now I'm going to take the light and we're going to hang it above a system and see how it grows. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos, and I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe for more. Happy hydroponicking.